For this lecture, we will be taking a look at the spatial observation and environmental drawings. It's like when you walk into a space that you ask yourself, what do you notice? Is it the people, the walls, the furniture, or even the light? Well, these things are all taken into consideration when considering what a spatial observation and drawing are and how they work together. Spatial observation is seeing the relationships between objects, forms, light, and the human experience, whereas observational is bringing things together in the physical environment, like the furniture, the architecture, and even the landscape, and noticing how we interpretate them in space in which we are drafting. These both require us to actively look and scan relationships instead of isolating the objects. We need to use a comparative judgment. Is the door wider than the table, or is the table tall? We also need to have translation in drawings to simplify reality into lines, shape, and shading in order to make and create the scene in which we are trying to display. A deeper dive into those spatial relationships is really recognizing depth, the scale, and perspective, observing where the negative space lies, and capturing proportional accuracy. There are a few key elements in looking at our spatial observation. When we see things like a perspective drawing, we're going to notice how parallel lines appear to converge at vanishing points. Objects further away from us appear smaller, while things that protrude out to us get larger. And we also see proportion where we're comparing the size of relationships of all of the objects to each other. We can demonstrate that scale from human object size from a chair versus a door, or a picture versus a picture on the wall versus a window on the wall. Seeing where that negative space lies, the empty space around and between the different forms, and looking at the light and shadow and defining the depth and texture. All are examples where we are going to see those spatial observations taking place in our drawings. And looking at the environmental drawings, again, we're capturing not only the objects, but also the space that they exist in. We're going to think about the interior and exterior in one view. Use some type of framing like windows or doors to capture the scenes. And we can see some different layerings within our drawings of environmental drawings. When we're looking at things like framing, we're going to decide what is inside and outside of the drawing. We're going to draft things in a hierarchy manner or see them in a hierarchy manner. What is the focal point? Is it the window? Is it the doorway? Or is it the figure that we may be drafting? Looking at the depth where we can use perspective of overlaying and using our light where we can shade and shadow with our line waves to show things far or close to us. And also zooming in on the context, where we're going to include the clues like the textures of the brick or glass, or the activity of what one is doing within the scene that we are viewing. With these items, we're going to begin to formulate our own understanding of spatial observation and environmental drawings. I would like for you all to try to open up your large sketchbooks. You're going to date your drawing as spatial and environmental drawing number 1. Find a seat near an open window or somewhere around your room or even a doorway. You're going to draw the boundary frame of your environment. So whatever that window, the doorway, or even if it has an edge of a desk included in your view, definitely draft that. Take an image of what you're going to be drafting using your phone or some type of camera. You only want to focus on the frame when you draft this. There's no need to include anything that is happening on the other side of the view or the inside of the view. Just focus on the frame itself so that we can come back together and we can then go ahead and have a discussion of what you are seeing in your space. Only focusing on that environment and showing how things are going to recede and overlap.